Today, we are going to be analyzing Kyle Walker. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe for more analysis videos. In this first play, you can see Kyle Walker scan his shoulder, looking to see what's ahead of him as the ball is played back to his center back as he expects the ball to come to him. Now as he takes his touch with the sole of his foot, he takes a quick glance at how the opponent is approaching him. Walker is going to open up. Now since the space is here, Walker is going to want to go into that space, but the opponent is quite close to him. To get past this, Walker is going to do a quick cut back and exploit the space. Now after he plays the ball out wide, he is going to continue his run forward to create space in behind for his teammate to play the ball back into. Here, you can see how when the ball is played back to the center back, Walker is immediately checking back out wide to spread the play. Now as the ball is played into him, he scans his shoulder as the ball comes into him and then opens up. Since he doesn't see much options going forward, he is just simply going to play the ball back from where it came from. Here the winger is going to cut the ball back to Kyle Walker. Now you can notice here how he has picked up his head to see what's happening in the box. Now as he notices the players making runs into the box, Walker is going to cross it in around head height, creating a very good chance on goal. Again here, Walker receives the ball out wide in space. Now as he opens up, he could pass it to his winger, but if he does, his teammate does not have many options going forward. Hence he is going to fake passing out wide and play it into the midfield where there is more options. Now as this winger runs out wide, you can just see how much space there is out here. So Walker is going to check into that space. Now as the ball is played back to Walker, you can see that they have plenty of numbers in the box, so he is going to cross it in first time. Here's a sequence of plays of Kyle Walker just passing and receiving. You've probably noticed he plays the ball back quite often to his center back. Primary reason for this is to look for a gap in the opposition to expose, and it's always a slow continuous build-up. In lower leagues, teams tend to always do the high press, so you usually have less time on the ball as a defender. You can see how tight the play is on this side of the pitch. Now since Walker expects the ball to come to him, he begins scanning his shoulder so he can make a decision before on where to play the ball. He knows that his winger is out wide, and so when he receives the ball he can play it out wide straight away. Now like before, when this winger dribbles out wide, Walker is on the edge of the box in space, so when he receives the ball back he can cross it in first time. Another major role of a fullback is covering in for the center backs when they step up. As you can see, when this teammate goes forward, Walker is going to tuck back inside to cover him. Here, after this throw-in, it gets a bit messy. Now since it's very tight here, you don't want to be playing around with the ball. Hence when Walker receives the ball he's just going to play it all the way back to his center back in space. In this play, you can see how the back line shifts across, leaving this pocket of space in behind. As a fullback, you need to cover any pocket of spaces, particularly in the middle. Now Walker here calls for the ball. He is going to hold on to the ball for a while, to allow his teammates time to move across and reset before playing it into a midfielder in space. This is after a corner, so everyone is all over the place. So Walker is going to control the ball and hold on to it for a while, allowing his teammates time to reset before playing it to his center back after everyone is back in position. You can see the amount of space on this side of the pitch, meaning the ball is most likely going to be switched over. Walker begins scanning, looking at where his winger is. Now as he plays the ball out wide to his winger, the winger begins to dribble inside, and hence Walker is going to make an underlapping run and then play a first-time ball across the box. Here Walker takes the throw-in. Now as he receives the ball back, he immediately notices this teammate in plenty of space and hence is going to play the ball in first time to his feet. Here, you can see that the space is here, so Walker is going to take his touch into the space ahead of him. Now, as he sees his teammate making his run, he is going to want to play the ball around here, but messes up the pass. Here, Walker is going to take his touch into the space over here. Now as he plays this ball out wide to his winger, you can see the amount of space here, so Walker is going to make a run into that space. As you can see, this opponent begins following him, hence Walker hesitates back here. Now Walker begins to make an underlapping run to give his teammate an option, as now this opponent has to make a decision either to stay and mark this winger or follow Walker. Now as Walker attempts to block this cross, you can see this opponent overcome it, leaving plenty of space behind for Walker to cut the ball back into and play the ball to his teammate in space. Here is a 1v1 situation. Now you can notice Walker is an arm's distance away from his opponent and has his arm on the opponent. The primary reason for this is to off-balance the opponent. Now notice how Walker is facing in this direction so that if this opponent begins to sprint, Walker is already facing in that direction and is able to catch up with his opponent if he does go forward, although he decides against it. Here is another 1v1 situation. Now as this player is on the edge of the box, Walker is going to position himself here facing sideways at an angle, plugging in the middle and forcing the ball out wide. Now the opponent decides to take a shot, so Walker is going to make himself big in an attempt to block the shot. Now as Walker receives the ball back, he has plenty of time on the ball. This opponent can't tackle Walker since he was offside since the last pass was played. So Walker is now able to pick up his head and play the ball forward. Here I want to point out how you should try to get to the ball first during aerial balls. Sometimes you might be able to get around a player, even if it involves dragging their shirt a little bit, and this is important not just to get the ball but to get into the opponent's head mentally. Again here, Walker receives the ball with space to take the cross. Now as he is about to take the cross, you can notice how there is basically only one player making a run into the box versus all of the opposition, so Walker decides against it and plays it out wide to wait patiently for an opportunity to attack. So I haven't included all of Walker's touches because there are a lot of plays involving being patient, waiting for opportunities to break through the opposition defense. Here you can see that the opposition team are sitting back all the way in their box, so City are passing the ball across from side to side waiting for opportunity. It's a slow build up, but when they catch the opposition off guard they finish it. So here's Walker's first touch of the second half. Now as Walker has played the ball, you can notice how the opposition lines are set and are sitting deep. Also notice how this opponent curves his run, forcing Kyle Walker back in the direction he came from. As this ball is switched back to the defense, you can observe how the winger is out wide in space for Walker to play the ball into. When the ball is played back to the centre back, you can see this opponent pressing him, forcing him out in this direction. This opponent has also stepped up to press Walker as well, meaning the space is behind. So Walker is going to check back and play the ball back to the goalkeeper so they can recycle the ball. Here's a loose ball, so Walker is going to get to the ball first. Now he's going to want to play this ball first time. Since his teammate's opponent is on this side, Walker is going to play the ball on the opposite side. Again here, Walker is going to open up and play the ball into his teammate's front foot to allow him to open up and drive forward. Now as Walker receives this ball back, the space is here, so Walker is going to take his first touch into that space. Here you can notice how this opponent is overcommitting on blocking this cross, so Walker is going to cut the ball back. Now notice here how as this opponent is about to lunge in here, Walker has put his foot across the ball to block off the opponent from getting the ball so he can't be tackled. Here again is another loose ball. Soon it becomes very tight as these two opponents try to get the ball off Walker. Now since this opponent is the closest, Walker is going to put his body in the way of this opponent so that he can't get the ball off him. Here a diagonal long ball is going to be played over the top. Now Walker is going to start his run just before the ball is hit so he can make this ball. Now since he is running in this direction, it's easiest to head the ball back to the goalkeeper rather than trying to head the ball back to his teammate here, though he does have to be careful. That's the end of the analysis. Subscribe if you have learned something in this video. Also don't forget to like and share this video. Let me know down in the comments who you would like me to analyze next. Check out these other videos on the channel here. See you next time.